In this next chapter, we're going to take a look at conditioning for ice hockey. Conditioning is the final part to the formula for developing hockey skating. Conditioning is not a technique, but it is the training that equips the body to be able to supply and use oxygen so that fatigue will not hinder technique and performance. There are two general types of conditioning, aerobic and anaerobic. Aerobic means with oxygen and refers to the duration of exercise that lasts longer than 1 minute. Anaerobic means without oxygen and refers to short, quick bursts of usually less than 1 minute. Ice hockey players use the anaerobic energy system to play the game and the aerobic system to recover between shifts. Studies show in the NHL that the heart rate during most shifts is 95% of the player's maximum heart rate. Also, the average shift length is 41 seconds. Training should be done in short bursts, not long endurance exercises, to mimic these shift durations. Players can increase their VO2 max, the volume of maximum oxygen uptake, by sprint training instead of long-distance runs or long-distance skates. Here is a sample of some conditioning exercises that can be done. Now we're going to take a look at step-ups as a conditioning exercise for ice hockey. Here we have Asher Finsley to demonstrate this exercise for us. We want to find a box first that's at the right height. So when Asher steps up, we want to make sure that the knee bend is a 90-degree knee bend. And then the pattern is going to be to step up and then bring up the other leg and bring the first leg back down and back down. We're doing this for conditioning, so we're going to go in a 2-minute set and we'll switch legs halfway through. Okay, go. "30 seconds, keep going, halfway there. What we want to look for is that the stride rate stays the same and that the player doesn't slow down or deteriorate by 45 seconds, 1 minute into 2 minutes. Want to see if they can keep going, showing us muscle endurance. 1 minute, switch legs. Right about now, this turns into an aerobic exercise. Fatigue starts to set in, breathing rate increases, and the burn in the leg is there. Now we got to finish. Now is really when the exercise starts. All the other stuff was just filler. We look for body posture change. We're at 1:30. Finish hard now, buddy. Finish hard. Keep going. 15 seconds. 2 minutes. Good job. Another way that we can train is to train endurance. Endurance is something that we want to train at the end. The order of training is first to do our quick foot exercises, our plyometric exercises, then our strength and conditioning exercises, and at the end, we would do our endurance, long distance run. So here's Asher again to show us this long distance run. 25 times, 50 times around the track. Looks like this. All right, way to finish, buddy. Ouch. We're now looking at a series of sprint exercises to train for ice hockey. Remember that ice hockey is all about starting and stopping. So when we're looking at a 25-yard sprint, a 50-yard sprint, and a 100-yard sprint. And we're still doing these in these dryland hockey training shoes, which makes the exercise much harder. And it would look like this. Now we're taking a look at a 50-yard sprint. Looks like this. And our last sprint here then is the 100-yard sprint, and will look like this. We're now taking a look at the bicycle as a form of training for ice hockey. The bicycle can be used for many different purposes. We can use this for strength and resistance training. We could use this for conditioning. We could use it to build up lactic acid in the leg muscles. We could use it to flush lactic acid after a game. We see many college, junior, and professional teams using the bicycle. You see many clips before or after the games of players cycling on the bicycle. There is some discrepancy, though, as to whether the players should use the bike, because the bike is a non-weight-bearing sport, where in ice hockey we bear our own weight. So there is some controversy there. But we want to tell you that if you did use the bike, a way that you could do it is do the hill program. That's what most often players do, or they're doing fast cycling to get rid of lactic acid. So the bicycle as a form of conditioning, and try the hill program. It'll be hard, you'll love it. A couple more things to consider with the bicycle. It is low impact training, so it takes the stress off of our lower back and our knees, and it also is great for rehabilitation in case a player gets an injury. So don't forget the bicycle in your form of training. Now we're going to do some muscle endurance training by use of running the stands. You could do this inside the arena or outside at a football field. So here we've got Asher again to show us what this would look like for muscle endurance. Through the course of this DVD, and probably even your own training, you've seen wall sits before. You've seen shuttle run exercises where we'd run down and back. But we've never thought to combine them together. I came up with this exercise after I saw and watched the NHL games and the highlights and saw the statistics about how we perform. And what happens is a player is in perusing position. They're scanning the ice from this low position, and it's from this position, after holding this, after battling and fighting, they're supposed to make a quick start and go, 3 quick steps. And then they come into the zone and they bend down and they're in this quick position. And then from here they push, and then they make a quick start, they go, and they bend down again. So they're constantly building a dead leg on the thigh, and then they're asking themselves to make a quick start from that drained thigh position. So here's our idea. We're going to make wall sits for 15 seconds. We're going to do a shuttle run down and back, and then go back into a wall sit for 15 seconds. Have to build that dead leg, come back out of it. And we're going to do these 4 times, so it's a 60-second interval. And a couple of things that we have to comment on about the wall sit. The wall sit, like we said from before earlier in the DVD, has to be a 90-degree knee bend. Players can't do this and cheat. They can't put their legs out here, and they can't put their hands in their hands. And also when we start, we're looking for the player to come off the wall and make a quick start. Move their feet real quick, 3 quick steps. And what we see 2 things. We see that players will use their hands. They'll come off the wall and they'll push. That's cheating first. And then, especially towards the end, you'll see that players come off, and it isn't 3 quick steps. They come off the wall and they go slow steps at the end. So let's take a look at how this exercise works. Get into a wall sit, 15 seconds. Go. Go. Oh, yeah, there we go. Now we're dying. Legs are burning. Go. And that's the exercise. One out-of-shape hockey coach. Try it with your players. Try it yourself. You won't believe how hard that exercise is. In closing, some key points to remember. Never before has there ever been such a DVD like this, showing so many dryland training exercises in such a progression. Players and coaches will now be able to use these exercises to produce the fastest skaters in history. I hope that you have enjoyed these DVDs. I feel very fortunate to be able to share all of this information with you. Remember that practice is the key. Work hard and try your best. Who knows, maybe we will be watching you or someone you coached play in the NHL someday.